What are you?
I'm Megan.
Science fiction films not only lead us to fantasy, but also can initiate thought-provoking discussions about philosophy, ethics, and of course science. In 2023, and even among the best films of 2023, there was a dearth of top-notch sci-fi, but we also had some well-made works that came up with fresh ideas and satisfied fans of the genre. This year was not very bright for the sci-fi genre, and if we leave superhero movies aside, in fact, the only successful commercial movie is Megan, which is not a pure sci-fi work. We currently have The Creator on the screen, which despite its high quality, performed poorly at the box office. The Dune, Part 2, could have been named the best science fiction film of 2023, which unfortunately was delayed until next year, and now owned the fans of the genre, Rebel Mole, by Zack Snyder, which will be released on the Netflix service in late December and is supposed to be a serious competitor to the Star Wars series. Number 10. Landscape with Invisible Hand. In the not-so-distant future, aliens have landed on Earth. They don't come to destroy everything, but to seek resources, so they sign deals with greedy businessmen and politicians and officially take over the planet. Now rich people live in floating cities and ordinary people are trapped on the ground. Adam, Asante Black, is one of these unlucky people who lives on Earth with his mother and sister. Adam paints and studies at a school controlled by aliens. Chloe is the new student at the school, whom Adam takes a liking to the point where he invites the girl and her homeless family to live with him, a decision that infuriates the mother. But the main story starts from here. Aliens have no understanding of love and are willing to pay good money to learn more about it. This leads Chloe and Adam to decide to make money by broadcasting their romance to aliens. Number 9. No one will save you. Nobody's gonna save you, isn't kidding. And after a short introduction, it sends us into the heart of a space invasion. Of course, there is no news of an all-out space attack like War of the Worlds, 2005, but a smaller and more suspenseful story that follows its goals carefully and knows what it wants to be, an unpretentious sci-fi horror film. Brian Duffield, who has the well-made black comedy, Spontaneous, 2020 in his portfolio, shows in his second production that he doesn't need huge budgets to implement his ideas. He also writes the scripts of his works himself. Undoubtedly, not all the ideas of the filmmaker have worked and the ending of the film may not satisfy everyone, but it must be admitted that Duffield knows exactly what he wants and what he is doing. Brian Caitlin Dever is a young girl who lives in a small town but in a big house. Brian is a loner who is disturbed by the townspeople, so he prefers to stay away from everyone. You soon realize that he doesn't talk much. In fact, you start to realize that no one in the film speaks at all, a conscious choice by the filmmakers that heightens the suspense and sets the film apart from similar works. The hero of the story is imprisoned in the past. He listens to old songs, wears classic clothes and even writes letters. But what he doesn't need in the current situation is a confrontation with aliens. You don't have to wait long to meet strangers, and they arrive at the earliest opportunity. You might think that the events of the movie all take place in one night and in one particular place, but No One's Gonna Save You has a few other trump cards that it puts on the table at the right time. We won't reveal them. And these aliens are weird and eerie. Brian Duffield shows some small and large examples of them, but these creatures are close to what is common in popular culture. Although Caitlin Dever does not speak, she speaks to us with her body language, and as the story progresses, we get more information about her and her past, and identify with this character. No One Will Save You. Contrary to its appearance, it is not a very scary movie, but it is one of the exciting science fiction works of 2023 that keeps its charm until the end. We don't know the motives of these extraterrestrials, but we do know that they have entered our planet and that they have no positive intentions. As with all unknowns, the fact that we don't know much about these creatures makes them seem more dangerous, especially the way they interact with each other and the sounds they make. Brian Duffield has stated that he has some interesting ideas for a sequel, but it remains to be seen if he will be given the opportunity. Number 7. Infinity Pool. Like his father, Brandon Cronenberg makes scary sci-fi movies that are not easy to watch. However, the son does not want to repeat the same path as the father, and his works have their own identity. In Brandon Cronenberg's films, there is an indescribable coldness, and you have the feeling that all the characters and all the people who live in the world of these films are doomed to annihilation and destruction. Love has no place in this world, and the things people do for pleasure make you nauseous. In these bitter and dark worlds, humanity has also disappeared. The Occupier, 2020 established Cronenberg as a serious filmmaker, but Infinity Pool is a far more controversial work. Audiences should not watch his third production for entertainment. Infinity Pool is not an entertaining movie, but it will leave you confused and disturbed. A not-so-successful writer named James Foster has traveled to an imaginary country with his rich wife to get away from his personal life for a short while. Long unable to write, James hopes the trip will spark his creativity. Everything follows normally until Mr. Writer meets Gabby, who is apparently a fan of James' works, and invites her to a private party. This period turns into a disaster, and James accidentally causes the death of a person to send him to the detention center. The science-fictional elements of the film become bold from here on. Apparently there is human cloning technology in this country. James, who is on death row for murder, can pay to send a clone to the death chamber in his place. Cronenberg doesn't even bother to explain the mechanism of simulation to us, and it doesn't matter, this strange world cannot be described. The presence of clones means that no action goes unpunished, and whatever you do, your clone will be punished. In this regard, James and his new friends can go crazy and commit murder and crime. The Infinity Pool raises interesting questions. How do you know you are yourself? What is the difference between the real self and the cloned self? If there are no rules, how far will you go? How can you get out of this lawless structure, and how can you be normal after that? Another prominent feature of the film is Cronenberg's atmospheres, which are connected with depression, sadness, and emptiness. If you don't like violent and disturbing works, skip Infinity Pool, but if you are looking for a different experience, this movie will not disappoint you. If you like the video so far, please subscribe to my channel. Number 6. Megan. Killer AIs have a long history in the film industry, from Metropolis 1927 and 2001, A Space Odyssey 1968 to The Terminator and Avengers, Age of Ultron 2015. Likewise, evil toys are not a new phenomenon, especially the Child's Play and Annabelle series, which have many fans. With these details, Megan seems like a repetitive idea at first glance, but this production by Gerard Johnston is not interested in repetition. The story revolves around an advanced robot that has become too dependent on its human owner and is ready to commit violence to protect his safety. The idea is fascinating in itself, but Johnston uses subtlety and intelligence in its implementation. Kiddy is a girl who lost her parents in a fatal accident and now lives with her aunt, who is active in the field of robotics. Later, Kiddy is given a gift of an experimental super-intelligent robot named Megan to be his friend and companion. Everything is normal at first and Megan performs her duties properly, but slowly, it becomes clear that this robot does not believe in self-control and can be violent. Megan's temper rises, and whoever threatens Kiddy will pay a heavy price. Megan is not a revolutionary sci-fi film and has the common signatures of the genre, but the fact that the story's dangerous artificial intelligence is presented in the form of a pseudo-human girl has led to the creation of lasting moments. In addition to making efficient use of the potential of the science fiction genre, Megan's film has a few other strengths. It offers a deep understanding of grief and loss, it benefits from a solid script that doesn't easily waste situations, and of course, it's one of the most entertaining films of the year. It is 2023. Gerard Johnston also has House Arrest 2014 in his portfolio, which is one of the best horror comedy films of the last 2 decades. He has used comedy elements in the best way, and the film looks funny even in its serious moments. Megan could have been scarier, but Gerard Johnston offers a passable mix of genres and everything is just right. The film even gets deep and thought-provoking at times.